Welcome back, everybody. Welcome to Buxton. Here we are on the Peak Forest route once again, and this time I've gone onto the Creators Club and I found this green, quite striking, green livery for the 101, everybody's favourite geared train in TSW. You either love it or hate it. I actually quite like it. Once you get used to driving it, it's fine. We're going to run a little scenario I've created from Buxton up to Chinley. So let me just show you on the map where we're going. So here we are at Buxton. We're coming all the way down to this junction, and we'll be coming up to Chinley up here, and we're calling at Peak Forest and Chapel-en-le-Frith on the way there. Let's get everything set up before we do anything else. Let's get the lights on the front. Destination marker course. This is the, I believe this is the Thames Valley, Tees Valley, not Thames Valley, Tees Valley 101. We can actually set this to special. Let's leave it at special. Get everything else on. We'll put these on. There is no AWS on this route, it's too old. We will leave the reverser off for now. Get the instrument lights on. Okay. Do that. Do that. And we'll get the doors open. So what we'll do, we'll just go to the back and actually we might need to shut that, so open the door. Come on. Come on. There we go, that's better. Let's go down the back. We'll set up the lights at the back in the rear cab because they don't automatically go on in this one. You can't really see them in the daylight. Let's just jump in and do that. So we'll set the marker lights to red. We'll put the destination on, and we'll also change it like we did at the top. We'll change it to special. Oh. I went to Newcastle. There we go. Right, special. Everything's right at this end, so that's good. Get this closed. If you want to pick up this livery, I will put a link to it down in the description. It's the green one. It's weathered as well. Can you see the weathering? The weathering's quite nice. There's one of the new outfits for this DLC. It's quite a nice Buxton station actually. Quite a nice little station. If I jump over here, I don't know what that building is. There's a building with a dome just outside. Can you just see it there in the distance? I don't know what that is. I need to look that up. Maybe some of you who are familiar with Buxton can already tell me what that building is. So if you do, pop it in the comments. As always, I will learn eventually. So we're all ready to go. We'll get in. Close the door, windows are down. It's a nice day, isn't it? So don't need to worry about the weather. We'll put the reverser into forwards, into first gear, get the brakes off, and off we go. Set the brake back to the middle. Nice little run in the diesel all the way around to Chinley today. It's a day after the DLC was released, so now that you guys have had a good chance to play on it, what do you think? Was I right yesterday when I said it's got a bit of a different vibe to Spirit of Steam? I still stick by that. I did play a lot of it off channel last night, Tuesday night. Read quite a bit of the feedback from the comments and on the forums, and generally I think this has been a very good release. I think a lot of you are playing it and really enjoying it. So to play this one, you will need. I think actually, I said this is the Tees Valley 101. I actually think that it will work. This livery will work with Northern Transpennine 101. Just give it a try. I've tried it with the Tees Valley one. But since having TSW3, I've not really run the 101 very much. And this route gives me an ideal opportunity to do that. This is very suited to this route. Early 60s. Diesel's just starting to... Oh, we got a radioactive windscreen wiper. Look at that. Diesel's starting to replace steam. And this one looks very, very good. So it comes in the standard BR blue on the two routes in TSW, but there's quite a few different liveries. You can also get one with, this has got the yellow front, but you can get one with the yellow whiskers on the front. That's quite a popular one on the Creators Club. I think this one's got about 400 subscribers, this particular one. So go and check it out, definitely. I do keep looking for these little gems for you, and if I spot them, I will play them on the channel. We got 2.7 miles to Peak Forest, so because we're going in a curve, it's 2.7 miles direct as the crow flies to Peak Forest, so it's not taking into account the fact that we are going around a large bend, but that's fine. Who was it on Thomas the Tank Engine that was like this? Was it Daisy? I think it's Daisy. Daisy was a diesel like this. Put a bit of brake on, we got a 1% downhill. Fits in really well with this scenery, this one. I only downloaded this on one of the streams yesterday. I was speculating about a green 101 would be suitable for this route. So last night is when I downloaded this. I went looking, downloaded a couple. This one's quite good, apart from the radioactive windscreen wiper. I don't know why that is, but it's fine. Just don't look at it when you're in a tunnel. You'll be alright. So I've mentioned this before when we've used the 101 before, but when I was a kid and I used to travel on these, I used to want to sit there and watch what the driver was doing and look at the view out the front. But quite often, depends who it was, but quite often you'd get a grumpy driver that would pull the blind down so that you couldn't see. But the rest of the time, you know, you'd get a friendly driver who's quite happy to let you see what he was doing. Quite unique, really, that, isn't it? You don't often get to get a cab ride, as it were, or a cab view as you're travelling. But I know locally, when I was a kid, Preston to Barrow, Preston to Blackpool, all use these 101s. So travelled on them quite a lot with the big springy seats. They got the big giant springy seats. When in winter, when the heaters are puffing out that really stale, dusty heat that, you know, nearly chokes you, as I'm doing now. Happy days indeed. Right, we've got a 10 coming up though, so let me put a bit more brake in. So it's got lap brakes. Not only has it got gears, this one, but it's lap brakes as well. So it's double trouble. As you can see, we nearly come to a complete halt. So we got 10 around this curve. As you can see, it's quite a tight curve as we make our way around and up to Peak Forest. So again, it takes a bit of skill at first to drive this one and keep to the speed limits and not over brake, but it's easily done. And we're actually going uphill at the moment, which will make it easier. Let's take a look outside. So down there is the route down to Ambergate, where we went yesterday in the ScotRail 47. And the Royal train as well that we ran last night came from that end and came along here and up and round to Buxton. You remember we were having some wheel slip just through there, up the hill in the Royal train. But we got there in the end. We got there on time actually, which was pretty good. Plenty of flange squeal on this bend as well, which is quite nice to hear. I think I like the 101 as well. About the 101 that I like as well is that the you can hear the track sound more so than in other units that we've got. Love that track sound, the clickety clack. Not at these speeds, but you will see once we start moving. So once we get around this curve, we should start eating into that 2.8 miles there at the top to Peak Forest, because we'll be in a direct line with it. Can't speed up just yet. We do have a 50 coming up. As we get photo bombed by the signal box. Right, so we've got the 50. So let's start stepping up through the gears. So same as a car, revs to the top, take the throttle off, put it into second. When it turns orange, you can then apply. When I say orange, if you look down, you see the orange number 2 down in the hood. So we'll let those boys come all the way up to the top. All the way to the top. Then we drop the throttle completely off. Go into third, turns to orange. Apply the throttle. Just like a car with a clutch, really. And it's got 4 gears. See them at the clickety clack now? Love that. So let's go to 4th gear, so again throttle off, up to 4th, turns orange, put the throttle back up. Keep doing that, keep going to zoom in and ended up pressing the right thumbstick too much and end up back in the cab. So even though we put the tail lights on, there is actually a tail lamp on this one. Tunstead Quarry just there behind us. So we got 1.4 miles to Peak Forest, which is the first station. So we've got Peak Forest, Chapel-en-le-Frith, and then Chinley, finally, which is our ultimate destination. Once you get going in this 101, it can fairly shift, you know. I don't know what the top speed is. Does it say anywhere? Don't think it says. Usually it will tell you in the cab somewhere. I don't see it. Sometimes up here on this destination box. 0.8 of a mile to Peak Forest, so in a second I'm going to take the throttle off. Put a little bit of brake in. We are still uphill at the moment, which also helps, of course, with the braking. Just fully release the brakes, set it back to the lap position so that we're ready to apply brake again. So this is Peak Forest. That wasn't a bad stop actually, that, if I do say so myself. Now, is anybody going to get on and off? Because sometimes that's the problem with the scenarios. When you create your own scenario, even though you designate it as a passenger, and it is going through the loading, as you can see in the top corner, nobody seems to be getting on or off, which is a bit of a shame. But we'll go through the motions. I mean, that could be right. People will got on at Buxton. They might not want to stop at Peak Forest. I'm sure Peak Forest is a lovely place. Don't get me wrong. Maybe it's the wrong time of day. Maybe they're all workers and they're already at work. Right, let's get into first gear so we're ready to go. We will release the brake. Brakes are coming off. Drop the throttle. Gear up. There we go. So, Chapel-en-le-Frith is next in 3.4 miles. We do have a 50 coming up, but it'll take us a while to get up to there, I think. Just set the brake to the lap position, then I'm ready to apply them if we need them. We'll coast for a little bit. So I believe, I remember right from when the 101 came out that if you want to coast, you should be in fourth gear if you're coasting, because that's the best position for less wear and tear on the engine, on the gearing system. So we'll coast because we're doing 46 miles per hour anyway in a 50. This driving the 101, it as I said just earlier, it does take some skill, but it's one of those things that we always say, repetition. Once you get into a rhythm of stepping up the gears, it's fairly straightforward, especially if you do drive a car in real life, and it's not an automatic, that is. You drive a manual car. exactly the same. And once you've mastered the gearing and the speed changes, then the braking, again, is another skill you need to learn. You saw how I did it coming into Peak Forest. I don't think there's a complete science to it. I kind of do it by feel and distance. And by that I mean I look how far I've got until I need to stop, and I kind of just judge it. Am I braking too fast? It's quite easy to release the brakes whilst you're still moving. And it's just down to your own judgment. That's what I find. Now that's probably not a technical answer. There will be a way, looking at the hood, at the brake dials, for doing that in a more technical manner. But for me, it's done by sight, and it's done by how it feels. And generally, I do okay. I'm gonna mess this next one up now at Chapel-en-le-Frith. Now I've said that, but in the old hood, it was easy to. For me, it was easier to see how much brake I was actually applying. When I say the old hood, I'm talking about the original TSW, the TSW 2018. Then the hood changed slightly, and I thought it made it a little bit more difficult. I had to change the way that I braked, because I used to rely on the dials. I don't anymore. But it's fine, because you get used to the new method. Anyway, that's too much technical talk. You're here to see the livery and have a nice run on the diesel, on the little 101. We're less than a mile to Chapel-en-le-Frith, so we'll start making some preparations. We're already coasting in, we're downhill quite steeply. Now, of course, when you create your own scenario, you're not subject to a timetable, so you can't really tell whether you're on time or not. I think we've made pretty good time with this. So I'm coming quite hot here with this. So we are at full braking. Oh, you know what? We got away with it. Take the brake off. Reapply. Look at that. Perfect. I'll take it. You know what? For a moment, I thought we were going straight through Chapel-en-le-Frith. It was touch and go then for a little while, but we managed it in the end. So just judgment, as I said, just judgment. But in the end, we got it right on the money, which was quite good. So, after this, we are straight through to Chinley. And that will be the end of the service. Just a short service between Buxton and Chinley, but a very pleasant one. So, what I didn't do was clean up the gears, ready to go. Brakes are off, we're in first. I'll let you listen to the gear changes. Yeah, I said it at the beginning. This 101, especially in the green, it fits so well, I think, with this route. Just from a nostalgia point of view. Almost as much as the steam trains that come with the route fit with it. Yeah, this 101 in green doesn't look out of place. Any of you locals that used to run up and down this line will tell me, you know, if that is true or not. It seems right to me. We've got a 15 coming up, which I'm not going to make. Not by any stretch of the imagination. Because we're going across the points here, I think. Let's get back to the right gear that we need. I knew that was coming up as well, and just completely forgot. That's me talking and not paying attention. So we've got a 30. It's actually not far from Chapel-en-le-Frith to Chinley, as you can see. We've got just over half a mile now to go. We'll start putting some brake in to get down to this 30. And it's downhill as well, all the way in now to Chinley. So just a short service today. Hope it's one you've enjoyed. As I said, if you own the 101 already, and you want to pick up this green one, I will put a link to the Creators Club area for this particular livery if you want to go and pick it up. Thank you to the creator of that livery. As we come into Chinley, just release the brakes, amble down the platform. These stopping distances are tight, as you can see. Let's open the doors one last time. So yeah, that is the green 101 from Buxton to Chinley via Peak Forest and Chapel-en-le-Frith. As I said, hope you've enjoyed it. It's a fun one. I just wanted to run that. As soon as I saw it yesterday, I wanted to run that for you. Hope you've enjoyed the little ride. Thanks for joining me. As always, please leave me a like if you enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe. We're nearly at 2,000. We're so close to 2,000. Thanks to everybody for your continued support. I really do appreciate it. I really mean that. Have a good day, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.